Yo, what the fuck is up, YouTube? It's your boy Haunted back with another fucking video. And today I'm coming at y'all with the first time I ever did ketamine. So without further ado, let's just get right into this shit. Now, this is coming off the back of a couple other substances that I was doing at the time. So I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about this whole thing at some point. But just for now, I'm going to talk about the K. So let's just talk about that. So we're coming off an acid trip, and me and my homie are just sitting there, and we're just acid and shrooms. Me and my homie took acid and shrooms, and we just waited a couple hours, and we had been planning on doing K, and I'd been planning on doing it for the first time. He was hyped to do it with me, and I was pretty fucking hyped too, right? You know, so I'm sitting there, and I was just watching him chop up this line of K, right? Now, it's my first line, right? And, well, I think actually what happened was he chopped up, like, a pile, right? Now, with ketamine, it's very, like, crystally, right? It's like these little rectangle-y fucking crystals, right? That come in little bags, right? These little rectangle crystals that you, like, crush up. And you can't really snort it if it's not, like, you know, crushed up because it's, like, shardy. You know, it's not very good to snort ketamine if it's not, like, divvied up, right? So, I'm sitting there, and I'm watching him do this. And, you know, he's like, all right, take your line, right? And I'm like, okay. So, I take the card, and I take myself the tiniest bit, right? And he's like, that will do nothing. So, you know, he ends up giving me a line that's like 4 times bigger than what I chop, you know. It was like quite a bit bigger, but it wasn't a big line, okay? You know, with ketamine, you want to do like bumps of the shit, and, you know, you take 1 or 2 lines to get fucking ripped, right? So, you know, he chops me up this line, and, you know, it's like I said, it's like 4 or 3 times bigger. And I take that shit for the first time. I did some ketamine, right? You know, I'd been waiting to do K for years. You know what I'm saying? I knew I was going to do it at some point, and it just took this long. So it took like, you know, it was like a couple months ago now that I did the shit. So, you know, I'm sitting there, and I'm waiting for this shit to kick. I'm like, how long does this shit take to kick in, right? First thing I noticed when I snorted it, right, was just like a calm feeling in my face. Like, it wasn't anywhere else. It was like my face and then kind of like my chest. Like, I just felt like a calm feeling in my chest, in my face, right? And mostly like my nose area. Like, I felt like I could feel it getting kind of cold. Like, ketamine kind of makes the back of your nose cold, right? So, you know, I kind of feel that in my face. I'm like, I kind of like that, right? So I asked my homie, you know, how long does this shit really take to kick in, right? And he's like, just give it like 2 or 3 minutes, right? And I wait, and as these 2 minutes go by, bro, I start feeling this shit, and I'm like, wow, bro. I start feeling this, like, tranquilized feeling, bro. This super calm and relaxed fucking feeling. More calm than I've ever been on any Xan. More calm than anything. I was super fucking, like, calm and lit, bro. I'm sitting there, and I'm feeling this shit out, and I'm just like, wow, bro. I get why people do this shit. And, you know, get why the homies do this shit. So I'm sitting there with my homie, and me and him are just kind of like listening to music, feeling out the K, right? And I'm just feeling great, bro. I feel like a horse that's tranquilized, you know what I'm saying? I feel great. And it's just off 1 line, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn, bro, not a lot of drugs get you this right off of 1 line. But, you know, I felt great off this shit, right? And I'm sitting there, and I give it some more time. And, you know, I felt great enough, and I'm like, you know what, my boy? I hit up my homie. I'm like, I'm gonna call this homie we're gonna call him Don for the story. I hit up Don, and I'm like, yo, bro, let me get another line of that shit, you feel me? So he hands me like a line that's around the same size, right? A little K line, right? And I do this shit. Now the second one, let me tell you, buddy, that shit fucking hit, bro. I'm hitting, my eyes start squinting, bro. And I'm starting to talk slow and shit. I'm not slurring yet, but I'm starting to talk slow. I'm starting to really feel geeked off this shit. You know what I mean? My body parts kind of feel heavy, but like not in the Benadryl type way, but it feels like a nice type way. You know what I mean? It kind of feels nice, you know? And I just low-key just feel tranquilized as fuck, bro. So, you know, me and the homie, we continued to do ketamine, like, pretty much up until, like, 3 in the morning, right? Now, the end of this shit, bro, I'm sitting there, and, you know, towards by, like, the time we were, like, getting towards the end of the bag, right? Bro, I start feeling, like, super fucked up, right? I can barely get up off the couch, you know? My eyes are squinting, I'm slurring my words, you know? But we're still good, you know, we're big chilling, you know, me and the homie are just having a great time, you know, but that's kind of like where the high gets the most extreme, you know, I kind of just I felt great, and I felt like just super tranquilized. I felt like a horse that, you know, had to go to the vet, my boy. That's just what I felt like, you know. Time comes, you know, the bag ends, you know, and I'm sitting there fucked up, super geeked with the homie, and you know, it's about time to go to sleep. So I call it a night. I dap the homie up. I go to his guest room, you know. He doesn't really have a crazy huge house. This probably sounds like he has a mansion, but he just has a guest room where he lets guests stay, you know. Small room in the back of the laundry room. Pretty much not too big or anything. But yeah, so I split up with the homie. I go to bed, and I felt super calm in bed. I was fucking chilling, bro. I felt like a fucking hamster, bro. But yeah, much the end of the story time. If you guys enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe, and yeah, peace.